Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. Today I'm going to be filming a video showing you guys all of my favorite study tips and tricks and kind of like my study routine, what I do every day to get straight A's. And yeah, before we get into the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified every single time I post, and follow me on Instagram if you want. It'll be linked down below in the pinned comment. And yeah, let's just get right on into it. So my first tip is to have your own space to do homework. And I know that not everybody has the means to have like their own personal office, because if you do still live at home with your parents like I do, then your only option really is the desk in your room. And I know that it's not great to mix having your desk in your room, just because a lot of people don't like the idea of, oh, like my room is my place where I want to relax, it's the place like where my bed is and where I sleep. Like I don't really want to, have like a work mindset in the same space where I have like a sleep and relax type of mindset. And I totally get that, but also realistically, like not everybody has the means to do that. And if you don't have the means to do that, then just find a space in your room that you can make your own study space. So right behind me is my desk. It's kind of messy right now. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna clean it for the video, and then I was like, no, like I feel like this is more like how my desk normally is. I have like my Arduino, and then like I have lip gloss right there and like a jacket. But this is kind of like where I do my own workspace. And also another really important thing is I have to always make sure that my space is clean. So like if I were to do homework at this very moment, I would definitely have to tidy up my desk, because I can't focus if my room or if my desk is messy. My next thing is a very real subject that I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about in their videos, and it's kind of conquering the idea of FOMO, which if you don't know what that is, it's the fear of missing out. So if you're a college student and you're always getting invited to parties constantly, and you always say yes because you don't want to miss out, and like you'll see all your friends having fun on like Snapchat or Instagram, and you always want to be a part of that, even if you're in high school, but you also have a lot of homework. This idea is that you need to get over that and get over the fact that you're not really missing out. Like you're not gonna be less a part of your friend group if you don't go to one party because you want to do homework. I think that it's really important to make school your #1 priority, because if you're not doing that, like if you're picking parties and like social life over school and college, it's like, what's the point of college? Like, why are you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars? Most likely you're probably taking out loans, or you're in debt trying to go to school. Why waste your time partying? Like partying is fun. I'm not saying don't do that. Like everyone parties in college. Like literally go to party every now and then, but I'm saying like don't do it every single day, or don't do it on days when you have tests the next day. Just be really smart about it. Another fun study tip, these two kind of go hand in hand. The first is color coding. Not everyone likes doing this. I'm just a really visual person, and I love color coding everything. So for me, a really important thing when I'm studying is to kind of have all of my highlighters and all of my pretty pens out so I can make my notes look beautiful. The more beautiful they look, honestly, the more motivating it is for me to do schoolwork. And then going with that, if you have any classes where you have to do a lot of reading, your best bet is to, after every page of reading, just write down a summary of that page or annotate it. I remember when I was in high school, my senior year, I took an AP literature class, and for every book we read, we were required to do 2 annotations per page. And that doesn't seem like, now that I'm in college, like that doesn't seem that bad, but when I was in high school, like that was really hard, because most of the time I didn't even read the book, if I'm being totally honest. But it's actually a really good method when you're in college and you have a really reading heavy class, like a psych class, a sociology class, a biology class. I feel like those classes have a lot of reading in it, and when you're annotating every single page or writing a summary of every page, or even like every paragraph, it's easier for you to go back, because instead of having to reread the book, you can reread your notes, and it also helps your mind like understand and comprehend what you're learning better, if that makes sense. Another kind of fun study method that I have is the teaching method. This is like literally my favorite one. It's having a whiteboard. So I have one like this, but you can also have a whiteboard like posted on your wall. It's just kind of whatever works for you. I just don't have room on my wall to have a whiteboard, so I have like one like this, and this was like 10 bucks at Michael's or something. And then getting whiteboard markers and standing in your room and pretending like you're teaching a class. So like let's say I have an exam tomorrow in like chemistry, right? So I print out my study guide where it says everything to do, and I'll look at the first thing and I'll pretend like I'm teaching my class that topic and going into depth on that, because if you can teach someone else something, that means you know it really well. And it's also a really good thing to do, because then you'll know what you need to study and what you don't need to. Because like what's the point of like studying the study guide over and over and over again if there's things on there you don't need to study because you already know? Like it's fine to like go over it, but you don't need to constantly like spend so much time stressing and studying over a topic you already know, if that makes sense. You don't want to study really hard, you want to study smart. Another is music. Now, I'm not the kind of person that likes listening to like music with like a lot of words in it when I'm studying, because I can't really focus like that. So I like listening to like lo-fi or lofi. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say lo-fi. I like listening to like the little lo-fi beat playlists. If you literally search LOFI playlist on YouTube, there is so many of them. I think there's one that's live all the time that I like listening to, and I will literally just play that when I'm studying, and it's really nice and it's really calming. Sometimes even when I'm driving home from school, I just listen to that because it's really like it like is such a big stress reliever, and I love it so freaking much. But if you do like music, do that. Just kind of find what works for you. You can literally search so many different kinds of like beats that work for you. Some people like rain noises, like forest noises, white noise. Like you can literally look up like coffee shop sounds, like whatever is the best for you. Do that. Another study tip that I have is doing a little bit every day. I feel like a really big habit a lot of college students have, and it's a habit that I still am trying to break myself, is saving all of your work for like one day. So like let's say all of your work is due Tuesday. Throughout the week you just do whatever, then Monday night you do all of your homework and you spend hours and hours doing it, and then the rest of the week you just chill. Like, that's not great. You want to be doing a little bit every day, and going hand in hand with that is every single day after your class, you also kind of want to look over your notes and like practice it. So for example, like calculus, my math class. Right after my calculus class, I have another class, but like the same day that I do my calculus, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my homework instead of waiting until the last day, because all of our homework's due on one day. Instead of waiting till the last day, if you do it right after class, it makes your brain just kind of like remember the concepts better than if you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, if that makes sense. So yeah, doing a little bit every day is a really helpful and important tip, instead of doing it all in one week, if that makes sense, or in one day. Another really important thing is having a planner. Now I know every single person says this, but you do not understand how important this is. If you're taking like one class and like your due dates are really lax and fine, like I guess you can work around that, but like if you're taking multiple really hard classes that have a lot of due dates, having a planner is going to be your best friend in college. And even not a planner, maybe like a desk calendar or some kind of calendar where you can write when things are due, because having like a random to-do lists written everywhere, like on your phone or like on a sticky note or on a piece of paper, like that's not a good way to do it. Like you want to have everything written down, and you don't have to be as extra as I do it, but I like will plan out my whole week. Like I will plan out all the homework I have for the, like on Wednesday of this week, I'll plan out all of next week's homework, if that makes sense, just so I can be really prepared and know what I have to do. So a lot of people like doing this thing where you study in like blocks and then you take a break. So some people do like 50-minute studying, 10-minute breaks. I don't like doing that. I don't know why, but usually if I take a break when I'm studying, I get way too distracted. So I just kind of just go through it. So if I'm studying for like, if I have 4 hours of homework, I will just do 4 hours of homework. Maybe I'll take like a 20-second break to check my phone, but like I'm pretty good at like staying focused that long. But every single person is different. I would recommend the 50 minutes, 10-minute break, 50 minutes studying, 10-minute break. That does seem to work for a lot of people, and that's also what I've seen around YouTube. What a lot of people are saying is how they study, so I feel like that's a pretty good tip if you've never tried it before. Alright, so this is kind of like my favorite part of the video, because these are my favorite things that I like to do that I want to share with you guys. So every single day before I have a lecture, I like to prep for it. And what I do to prep for it is I start by reading. So a lot of the times my professors have us reading chapters in the textbook, or well, usually chapters in the textbook, and then I'll go ahead and read that before the lecture. I'll also go through the PowerPoint and I'll look through that. Sometimes I take really detailed notes, and then when I get into my class, I kind of like add little notes in different colored pen about anything they're saying that's not already on my notes. And then also YouTubing it. Like I do this a lot for chemistry. Whatever I'm learning, I will type it into YouTube the day before the lecture and then watch videos on it, because that really helps me. And then during the lecture, like I said, all I do is kind of add key concepts to the notes I've already created. And then after a lecture, what I like to do is, if you have a professor that talks really fast and maybe doesn't even post your PowerPoints online, your notes are probably going to be really messy because you're trying to write really fast. I would recommend getting a second notebook and then kind of in your study time rewriting your notes and make them look really nice. That way you have a really clean set of notes that like have your key concepts but also what was in the reading all into one, and also it kind of helps grain it in your mind more if you're rewriting it more, if that makes sense. Also, note cards and Quizlet are a really good resource. I like Quizlet because the matching game on there is like I'm a really competitive person, so I like to have things in like 5 seconds. Like I want to do it as fast as I can. So doing Quizlet for me really helps, but also I like paper note cards every once in a while. It just kind of depends on what your preference is. And then lastly, I love doing practice quizzes, especially before an exam. So what I'll do is, if you have like weekly quizzes or stuff like that, you can just kind of combine those into one master quiz for before the exam. Or if you have a study guide, you can take each topic from the study guide, find the book. If your book doesn't have practice problems already in it, then you can just Google some practice problems and print out like a couple different versions of a practice quiz and then do them and then find out the right answers and see what you're doing wrong and what you need to study. And you can also time yourself too if you're not a super quick test taker, just so it can kind of help prepare you for that. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I thought I would share it since honestly, since this quarter started, my life has been consumed with school. It is all I have been doing. I study every single day, like all day. I work all day Saturday, so Sunday is my only day that I actually have time to like do stuff with friends or be social, and like it's like my only free day, but I also have so much homework to do on Sundays. So yeah, I thought I would share that with you guys since it's pretty prevalent in my life right now. But I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a like and a comment, hit the bell so you get notified every single time I post, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.